What's up and welcome to my channel. Hi, my name is Louie and this is Time with Louie, and this is my Fusion Diary, where every video we travel to a new country, learn about their culture, learn about their food, learn about everything concerning the country, and we are inspired to show something related to that country. And today, all the way in South America, we're traveling to Peru. A country located in western South America and known for their vibrant traditions and cultural heritage. Holding 13% of the Amazon forest is the fusion of Spanish, African, and Asian influences. The most popular food, the ceviche. But today we're going deeper in Peru. In the Andean regions of Peru, go to the town of La Rinconada. This is the highest settlement in the world with an elevation of 5,000 meters above sea level. This town is so high that even traveling there, the oxygen level drops and the people there are acclimatized to produce more blood to sustain them. But this town is driven by gold mining. It is the center of gold mining in Peru. And from what I've learned in this country, I was inspired to sew this crop organza jacket, and as you can see, it has some stones on the body of the jacket, and I'll explain why. And I paired it to this spiral dress, which I would say is the perfect summer dress. You might be wondering why this cropped organza brown jacket. Well, if you look on the body, you can see it has some stones on it, and from learning that this town is moved by gold mining, I put that on this top. I chose to make this crop jacket with organza because I feel that if you want to represent oxygen, air, I think with fabric, organza is the best material for that, hence organza. And in Peru, the women wear a shawl called the licla. Please forgive me if I don't pronounce it well. This is why this brown jacket has this v-neck, this deep v-neck. It was inspired by that. So if you love this top and you'd like to see how I sewed it, make sure to keep on watching. Starting off, we're going to be sewing the dress using this beautiful Ankara material, a chocolate brown mirror face, our tape of course, scissors, a ruler, marker, brown paper, included our brown organza, chalk, and of course half-inch elastic measuring at least 2 to 3 yards. Starting off, my bust measurement is 42 divided by 4, that is 10.5, and by the time we add 4 inches, that is 14.5. So I need at least 14.5 inches on fold. Next, I'm going to be marking my nipple space, which is 8 inches divided by 2 is 4 inches, but I'm going to be marking 4.5 for sewing allowance. Next, I'm going to be marking my nipple space, which is 8 inches divided by 2 is 4 inches, but I'm going to mark 4.5 inches for sewing allowance, and I'm going to mark that from top to bottom. Marked it from top to bottom, bottom being 18 inches, and I've ruled it, connected it together. Next, we're going to be adding our horizontal measurements. First off, I'm marking my hemline, which is 1 inch, and I'm going to come down a down hemline and mark off first 18 inches, which is the length, before we add the curve, and that also is my waist measurement. You sticks, we up. Placing my tape on the nipple space line, I'm going to mark 12 inches, which is my bust point, and 15 inches, which is my under bust. Taking my tape, I'm going to mark 1 inches on the left hand side and 1.5 inches on the right hand side. I'm also going to do the same thing on the waist. Next, I'm going to connect the measurements together, so the 1 inch side and the 1.5 inch side respectively. Taking the ruler, I'm going to connect the 1 inch point of the under bust to the bust point, exactly the point where the nipple space and the bust point meets. Next, on the 1.5 inch side, I'm going to curve it to the bust point. Taking our tape, I'm going to mark my shoulder, which is 8 inches. At that 8 inch point, I'm going to place my tape at 3 inches, and I'm going to tilt it outwards a bit, and I'm going to mark it. And then at that 3 inches point, I'm going to mark a 2.5 inches. From that bust point, I'm going to connect the 1-inch side to the 3-inch mark, and the 1.5-inch side, I'm going to connect it to the 2.5-inch mark. I will be using dotted lines to connect the 1-inch side to the 2.5-inch mark because we don't want this cut to be sharp, so we're going to curve on it. Placing our tape at the 1-inch point from our bust point, we're going to connect it to the 3-inch point and get the measurement, which is 14 inches. I'm going to do the same thing on the 1.5-inch point, and I'm going to turn my tape to follow the curve to get the measurement. As you can see, we got a 12-inch marking, but we're going to extend that line to 14 inches so that the 1-inch side and the 1.5-inch side correlate well. Next, I'm going to connect our 8-inch shoulder mark to that 3-inch point. Now I'm going to mark my body measurements. So my bust is 42 divided by 4 is 10.5 inches, and plus 3.5 inches, that is 14 inches exactly. That's what I'm going to be marking. For my under bust, it is 34 divided by 4, which is 8.5 inches. I'm going to be adding 4 inches allowance, and that's what we're marking. And I'm going to put the same measurement of my under bust at my waist measurement as well. Next, taking my ruler, I'm going to connect all the points. I placed my tape at the 8-inch mark and came down by 8 inches, marking that line as our armhole line. And I'm going to connect from that 2.5-inch to the end of that armhole line. Our princess dart marking is complete, and now we cut. We're going to note the measurements of our center front and side front waist, which is 3.5 inches. So when you open it up, that is 7 inches, and for the side front it is 6.5 inches. To be able to achieve this curved banana dress, we have to do the princess dart first, then we're going to cut out the curve second. Then when cutting it on a material, we put them together so that we're cutting it in one piece. So now I'm going to cut the curve. So first off, I'm going to draft out the curve for the side front. So I'm going to be placing my tape. I'm marking 6.5 inches top to bottom, and bottom being 40 inches. The full length of this dress is actually 40 inches, but we've already drafted out our princess dart that has taken up 18 inches. So 40 minus 18 is 22 inches. So 22 inches is our curve, but we're going to add an extra 7 inches because this dress is going to curve, so it will get shorter. So make sure to include that 7 inches, 7 to 9 inches, but I'm taking 7 inches. As you can see, I've already marked out that 6.5 inches from the top to 29 inches, which is our new curved length, and I'm connecting all together. Next, placing my tape at the top, I'm going to be marking a 2-inch interval from the top to bottom. I have finished cutting out the 2-inch interval, and now we cut. Just like I did in my last video, I'm going to explain it. For that 29-inch strip, I did a slash and spread method, cutting it up to a point that it doesn't separate from the rest of the strip. I put a 2-inch space between all of them, spreading it on the material, and yes, I cut on the front of the material. I sellotape the brown pieces to our material so that we are not having any shaking or moving. So I'm just first of going to create a curve using my marker from the ends of the strip. If you have a French curve, it can come really handy at this point. As you can see, I have created that curve at the end of our strip, and now I'm going to cut out our side front on our material. But for our curve, I'm going to replicate this curve on a brown paper so that we don't have to go through this every time we want to cut this out. I have cut out the right side front, and this is what the piece looks like. And I've also gone ahead to replicate our curve on the brown paper so that when cutting out the rest, all we have to do is just place that replicate. And remember, when cutting out this piece, all the curves are going in one direction. So this is what I mean when I say that it should all go in one direction. We are cutting the left side front, and as you can see, I have placed the curve exactly the way it was for the right side front. Next, we cut it out. Now our left and right side front are ready. I'm going to do our left and right side backs. I'm doing the side backs next because it's literally the same thing as the side front, except that there is no bust. I have used the red marker to mark out our bust, and we're going to cut that off, and that is literally our side backs. Just as we did for our side front, we're doing for our side back. So I have placed our curve, and as you can see, it is going in one direction, and I have placed it on the front of our material, and that is how we are cutting it. So this is the right back piece. I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing for the left back piece off camera. This is the center front, and on fold the waist measurement was 3.5, so opening up it is 7 inches. Remember, our curve, we worked with a 6.5-inch curve, so I'm just going to add 0.5 inches on the left hand side so that it all matches up. As you can see, I've made the markings on the material with chalk round. With that said, we go ahead and cut. Now I'm going to cut the center back using the center front as a guide. I'm going to put 2 inches in front and cut it on the brown paper. So this is my center back. I just sellotaped it because my brown paper wasn't enough, but please, when cutting this, make sure your brown paper is enough and cut it on fold. I've put the pattern on our material, and our waist measurement of our center back is 11 inches. So just as we did for the center front, we're going to extend that 6.5 of our curve to meet 11 inches. If you look closely, you can see that I have drawn that extension on our material, and I made a mistake with this cutting. I cut on the back of the fabric. I could easily cut this out, but I'm putting it so that I can guide anyone that makes this same mistake like I did. And this will help you lose less fabric as compared to condemning the whole center back. All you have to do is cut out the top of the center back, turn your material to the right side, and place your curve on the right direction and cut it out, and then you're going to reattach it to your center back. Everything has been cut out, and now we sew. You're going to sew it just as you sew a normal princess cup. I've cut out 1.5-inch strips of our brown mirror face, and I'm going to be putting it on fold and sewing it in between all of our joinings. I have sewed our front pieces, and this is what it looks like. If I do say so myself, it is coming out very well. I'm going to take it up a bit and show you how the curve looks as well. As you can see, the curve is all going in one direction, so make sure you sew up everything to the ends. Onto our back piece as well, I'm going to do the same thing we did on the front and the back, and it is all going in one direction. And as you can see, I did divide the center back into two because of our zip allowance, and that slashing went all the way to the end of the curve, so make sure you measure that. Our front and back pieces are ready, so now I'm going to cut the neck for the front. Starting off, I'm going to be folding our front piece into two. If the front piece is properly aligned well, I'm going to place my tape on the middle of the folding, and I'm going to mark 8 inches, so minus 1 inch, which is our hemline, that is 7 inches. As well, we'll exactly cut, but I'm going to come down by 1 inch, which will be our actual sewing line. So this cut is actually 8 inches. Placing my tape on the shoulder marking, which is 8 inches, I'm going to come down by another 8 inches, which will be our armhole marking. Next, we're going to connect our armhole line with that 8 inches we marked at the folded middle, and this dress is going to have straps, so we're completely cutting off the first 8 inches of this dress. We're going to take out that cut out front piece and place it on the back, except that we're not going to give it a depression in the folded middle as I did for the front. I'm going to open up the front neck, and this is what it is. This is what the new neckline is. This is our back piece, and I'm going to take that cut out front piece. I'm going to place it on our back and cut it. This is our back piece. Next, we're going to cut strips that we use to hem the top. I have a piece of fabric and I've put it on fold. Next, I'm going to place my front piece and trace the neckline on it. You sticks, we up. Following that trace outline, I'm going to take my tape and mark 1 inch below it. And then we cut. So first off, I placed that strip on the front of the material and sewed on it, and I notched around it. Next, I'm going to turn it over and fold it in. I have hemmed the neckline of the front piece. I'm going to use the same format and do for the back. I have done the back piece, so next, following my measurement, I'm going to join the sides together. I've joined the sides together, and this is what it looks like. Next, I'm going to join the second side. I've closed up the second side, so now I'm going to fold everything into two, and I'm going to place my tape on my hip line, which is 10 inches down from my waist, and I'm going to close up from my hip measurement to the end of the dress so that it can make it easy for me to fix the zip. For the straps, I cut out 18 by 5 inch straps. Remember, when cutting our neckline, we cut off 8 inches. So for the front and the back, that is 16 inches, and for allowance of sewing, I added 1 inches, so that's 2 inches. Everything altogether is 18 inches. On the back, I put paper gum. Next, we're going to fold it, sew it up, and turn it inside out. I have fixed my straps, and I went 4 inches away from our joining on the sides. That is where I place the straps for both the back and the front. I have my dress again on fold, and now I'm going to fix the zip. So taking my tape, I'm going to measure from my bust point all the way to where my measurement is. On that fold, I'm going to do 42 divided by 2, which is 21 inches. So from my bust point all the way to the back, I'm going to mark 21 inches, and that is where I will be fixing my zip. If you'd like a detailed tutorial on how to fix a zip, make sure to drop it down in the comment section. I'll definitely attend to that. I fixed my zip, and this is what the full dress looks like. I believe it came out very well. For the ends of this dress, I just went ahead to do an English weaving. Thank you so much for getting to the end of this video. Make sure you drop a like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. Share it to a friend as well. Stay tuned for the next video, how to sew the brown organza crop top. Thank you once again for watching. Make sure to follow me on my socials, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.